I think it takes resilience and persistence. I did a deal on my sister's wedding.
How did that go?
Sold it.
John Karlecik, great to have you here. You're a new principal of NGU Forest Lake.
That's correct.
Last 12 months, you have sold how many homes?
Sold around 65 homes.
65 homes. You are one of the best agents in Australia, definitely top 1%. You make over $1 million in gross commission, but most importantly, you keep delivering great outcome for your clients. Now, you only started in real estate a few years ago, 3-4 years ago, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And we just had a quick discussion before about some real estate agents or new real estate agents. They love the idea of being a real estate agent, but they actually don't understand what it takes to be a great one. What does it take to be a great real estate agent and a great principal?
I think it takes resilience and persistence. You've got to be willing to put the work in. There's no hours where you can say, oh, I'll worry about it later.
Yes.
You've got to put your clients first. So just making sure that you're putting their best interest in place and the best outcome in place for them as well.
Yes.
So whether that's working on a Saturday night, working on an early Sunday morning,
Yeah.
Sunday night, or public holiday. I did a deal on my sister's wedding.
How did that go?
Went well, sold it.
Yes. But that's the thing. A lot of people don't understand what we do in sales. We are representing sellers' property. Most people, most sellers, they have worked all their life to have a home, 10, 20, 30 or 40 years to have a home. You know, that's kind of Australian dream.
Yeah.
And they are giving everything they have worked so hard for over so many years to somebody like yourself or myself or any other real estate agent to actually sell, which is a big responsibility. So with us, we got no choice but to be available to every single buyer anytime they call us.
That's exactly right.
Because if you don't pick up the phone, if you don't take the buyer tomorrow morning or tomorrow night to see that property, they might go elsewhere, and the seller who worked so freaking hard for 20 years might miss out on a great buyer, might be able to maybe offer more money than somebody else.
100%.
I think, your dedication shows that you're so dedicated to your sellers. Now, what's so special about Forest Lake?
There's a few things that I actually like about Forest Lake. One is it's very diverse. There's diverse culture. There's diverse properties available for sale.
Yes.
So whether you're an entry-level purchaser, so looking for, say, a townhome, whether you're looking for a downsized property, say on a 300 square metre block, or whether you're looking for that executive style property, it has a buyer for every single property. You
Yes.
can be happy no matter what type of home you want
Yes.
in that area. And it's
Yes.
close proximity to the city, it's
Yes.
close proximity to the Centenary Highway, Logan Motorway,
Yes.
Gold Coast. It's a very central location, which is very convenient for a lot of people.
Yes, and yourself, you're a family man, beautiful
Yeah.
wife, beautiful 2 kids. You being one of the best real estate agents at NG Real Estate and just in general, you had an option to open an office really anywhere you wanted to open the
Yes.
office. Why did you choose Forest Lake?
I think the reason we chose Forest Lake is purely on the basis that it's still an untapped market for a lot
Yes.
There's plenty of great agents out there. They've seen plenty of great results, but a lot of the agents there, I guess, have been there for a long term. They're part
Yes.
of the furniture in that area.
Yes.
We just want to show the NGU difference in an area and show people what we can truly get for properties.
Take me back a few years ago. You were not in real estate. What were you doing prior to real estate?
I was a shop fitter, so working 100-hour weeks, very heavy work, very physically intensive labour.
Yes. What made you do the change?
It was one of those situations where I had no choice but to change. I don't have a switch off button, which is
Yeah.
probably a good thing in real estate because you can't switch off in this job.
Yes.
But for me, physically, my body just got tired very quickly. But now I can do something I can enjoy. They're still relevant because I was a tradesman for 10 years.
Yes.
So knowing the housing market and knowing how properties work and how they're built and structured, it's very important to know what you're actually selling.
Yes, yes.
I've got that information backed in for 10 years.
And which is very important. Quite often I feel like real estate agents, they're selling the product, they have no understanding what went into it.
Yes.
You have better understanding what actually goes into building a home,
Yes.
full stop.
And I guess the big picture is when we're dealing with buyers, because at the end of the day, we need a seller and a buyer for a transaction. When I'm insinuating to a buyer what type of finishes they are, how much more value this particular property has based on those features, they see extra value in that. If another agent that has no information whatsoever or no understanding of the value behind the property in terms of a renovation or in terms of a finished home, how are they going to perceive extra value compared to another recent sale that could be basically finished?
Yes, of course. What's the difference between good agent and average one?
There's a lot of differences. It's their willingness to work in the first place.
Yeah.
I see plenty of agents that just want to work 9 to 5. They don't want to work Sundays, public holidays. They work when it's good for them, not when it's good for the client. The other thing is just local knowledge, just knowing what is sold in the area. Some of them actually don't study what other agents are doing. I go to other agents' auctions. I see what they sell for before they're even announcing it. So if I go to a property, I have a very good understanding as to what's actually happening in the local market, not just with my own sales, but everyone else's.
You know, what people don't understand with real estate, it's not 9 to 5 jobs, because most of buyers and most of sellers, they actually call you after 5 p.m. And normally when they're working in their jobs, they don't have time to actually see agents. So our work quite often starts definitely Saturday and definitely Sunday and definitely after 5 p.m. I think a lot of people see real estate as this glamorous, amazing job where you just make all this money in the world and you have a life, but it's quite opposite. Yes, financially you can be rewarded, but you gotta work.
You got to make sacrifices in this job to make it. If you're not willing to take those sacrifices, you shouldn't start in the first place.
Question for you. What advice would you give any seller when it comes to selecting the right real estate agent?
Pick someone that's hungry, but also understands the selling and buying process, because if you don't understand the process to begin with, it's not the promise of the price, it's the process that gets the best result. Make sure that they actually understand what they're doing. Make sure that they're willing to put in the hours. If you miss out on an opportunity with a buyer because it's not convenient for you, you could miss out on an opportunity for the seller. That's your job to do in the first place. The other thing as well that I find is agents that negotiate commission just like that. If they can't negotiate for themselves, how are they going to negotiate for the seller in the first place? They get an offer, hey, I think you should take it. I'm thinking, well, you haven't even negotiated yet. You haven't given a counter offer. Whatever hired you for.
Yes. How important is presentation?
Very important. First 7 seconds is where you make up your mind whether you like a person or not. So it's extremely important. In terms of presentation, you've got to look the part, you've got to talk the part, you need to understand the local market. If you don't know what's actually happening in the area, how are people going to believe you when you're saying, hey, this is worth X amount?
Of course. How important is presentation of the home when it comes to selling it?
Extremely important. People are always willing to pay more money for a property that needs less work. Getting the yards done, doing some patch and paint, getting new carpets, even staging. Yes, it can cost a little bit of money, but if you can get 10, 15% more by spending that little investment on the property, there's a much greater return by doing that.
I agree, you know, and sometimes it doesn't take too much effort to actually make it more presentable.
No.
These days when construction, is so crazy busy and you can't get trades, a lot of buyers are pushed away from, seeing anything that potentially needs work as well. So if sellers can actually just do that little touch-ups, can make the process a lot easier. Now, next 5 years, time goes fast. As you know, you've been in real estate now already for a few years. Where do you see property market going?
Look, I see it going up. I know there's a very shortage of properties right now.
Yes.
I can't see that changing. Obviously, immigration is just increasing every month, especially in that Brisbane market. We can't keep up with the housing. There's a massive housing shortage. So that's going to take decades to fix itself up.
Everybody keeps talking about it's getting harder and harder and harder for first home owners to buy property. What would you suggest to any young individual that wants to get into market?
Get into it now.
You're talking about 2, 5, 10 years from today, there won't be properties they can buy for $500,000 anyway.
Once you're in, you can leverage off the equity, you can sell, you can, profit off it, you can renovate. I don't think there's a bad time to get into real estate. There's only ever a good time, that's when you can.
Advice you would give to any buyer when it comes to buying properties?
talk to the agents, have honest conversations, ask if there's any conditions that the sellers will look favourably as opposed to other conditions.
Yes, yes.
That it can include something as simple as a settlement time frame, Emil.
Yes.
Someone might want a 30-day settlement and the buyer wants a 60-day. You know,
Yes.
circumstances can lead on to making a decision.
Yes, and I always say, you know, for any buyer that wants to get into the market, before they even start looking, they should really speak to the finance broker.
Yes.
Because there's no point looking at properties worth $900,000 if your borrowing capacity is $600,000 and you can't buy any more. So that way you're just gonna waste your time, you're gonna waste real estate agent's time, and worst thing is you're gonna potentially waste time of the seller if you put a house under a contract and you can't get your finance.
That's correct.
Then everybody wasted time starting from yourself as a buyer, full stop. So I think the finance is such a crucial part for everybody to be on top of. Next 5 years, what's there for John?
More.
More?
More. Always more, Emil.
I have to say that your hunger is very inspiring. We can talk about, being successful at our jobs or being so good at something, but if we don't back it up with work, that just becomes a dream and never reality.
That's exactly.
So with you, your focus is unbelievable, your persistence is unbelievable. And I think for any new real estate agent or any existing agent that is around Forest Lake, if they don't reach out to work alongside you, it's a massive mistake, because I always give advice to any new agent or any agent in the area. You want to work not just with the company, you want to work alongside people that are breaking ground, that are moving one step at a time every single day, that show up every single day. So I definitely see your office over the next 2 years dominating the market, and definitely more people joining somebody like yourself. You just keep doing what you're doing, Results keep coming, and just like they are now. We just discussed amazing price you achieved for a house in Forest Lake as well, and he was so passionate and so focused on getting great price for his seller, because he had multiple offers and he didn't want to let it go. Even your seller was happy to take less, but you kept pushing till you got unbelievable price for the seller. It's great to see you so focused at what you do, but it's also great to see you as an amazing family man.
Likewise. I think it's very important not to forget what else is important other than work.
John, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you.
We the best, we the best. No contest, my clique is the best.